We're checking in with the Johnny Appleseed Metro Park District. They got some projects they're working on. We're going to look to next year. And joining us, the director, Tyler Black. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Holly.
Okay, so I love this first topic that you want to talk about, flush restrooms. I mean, it seems so basic, but you know, in a park, everybody wants those.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it before, and we get it a lot. Not necessarily on a daily basis, but probably on a weekly basis about different restrooms around the park district and taking steps to improve those. And one of those steps that we're taking is installing a new flush restroom at Ottawa Metro Park. So one of our most heavily used parks is in the park district, and really just trying to take some steps to improve that area.
Mm-hmm. So. And the one thing, you know, you can use them all year round, and, you know, just they're just better, I assume. Are they harder to upkeep, though? Is that one of the reasons why you don't do it as much, or?
Not really. The style that we go with is all one enclosed unit that's, you know, it's not like we're building it from the ground up. It's a unit that gets brought in on a flatbed truck. It's heated during the wintertime. Obviously need to have it heated with plumbing and that kind of thing. But it's one of those things that really a lot of people look to. There's still a lot of people that go out and walk during the wintertime. There's still a lot of people that are in the parks during those quote unquote off season types of activities, and they still need a place to go to the bathroom. So pretty important piece of the puzzle here, getting to visit the parks and getting to use the parks. So
yeah, sure. All right, so let's talk about Kendrick Woods, and there's kind of like a wetlands project there.
Yeah, so we just got a really great opportunity through the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. We received a $2 million grant from the state to enhance some of the area out at Kendrick Woods with a wetland, and really kind of not just a wetland, but a lot of habitat enhancements that I think will be really great, not only for wildlife and habitat throughout the park district, but also water quality overall. That flows into Lake Erie. So
what kind of things will you be doing? Clearing out branches? I don't know, new pathways? What kind of stuff does that entail?
Yeah, so kind of all of the above. It starts at kind of a very baseline level of looking at the areas that could hold water, could hold potential flooding from the oglays, and like kind of help filter some of the runoff that you see from fields and adjacent properties. But really what that looks like is about 103 acres. So the project is right around 103 acres on property that we already own. And about 40 of that will be open water wetlands. So it's, you know, you think of wetlands, you think of open water, you think of ducks and waterfowl and different types of mammals, beavers, that kind of thing. So that'll be part of it. But then there's also the habitat component where we're trying to reduce invasive species, kind of clean the area up from things that we don't want in there that outcompete some native plants, but also introduce some native plantings. And the way that we're going to do that is through tree plantings, and about 60, a little bit over 60 acres of that will just be habitat work where we're going in and removing invasives and planting the things that we want to be there. So they help increase the viability of wildlife. They help increase the viability of the ecosystem that is right around that area. And then again, this is all adjacent to the Oglays River, so it'll help a lot of runoff that goes into the river and eventually flows into other bodies of water.
Yeah, that sounds like a neat project. All right, so before you know it, it's going to be 2024. Do you guys have some projects on your list that you have?
Yeah, we do, and I'm probably not even touching a tenth of them. But some of the bigger ones, obviously we're going to be finishing up that H2 Ohio project. That's going to be a couple-year project, more than likely. And really finishing that up entails just working through how do we get people there to access it and see what happened and get a glimpse at like having an opportunity to be involved with the wetland and see some of the animals and things like that that are there. So that could look like potentially overlooked deck. It could potentially be like a wildlife viewing blind, that kind of thing around that area. So that project will finish up in the next couple of years. But for next year, we're really looking at storage. Like you always, the park district needs storage. So one of the things that we're looking at is building a vehicle barn, just to house some additional vehicles that we have, but also to free up some space to be a little bit more efficient in our operations. And then there's always signage. So if you're in the parks, you see signage throughout the parks that either tell you where the bathrooms are or they tell you where certain amenities are. And looking at upgrading those, it's been a long time since we've upgraded those. And that's kind of high on the priority list. So you'll see a little bit different look in a couple different parks. We're going to roll that kind of project out over a couple years as well. But you're going to see updated front signage. You're going to see updated rules signage within the parks. You're going to see updated interpretive signage and directional signage. So there's a lot of different signs that we have in the parks. If you go for a walk down the trail, you're more than likely going to find a trail marker somewhere to tell you where you are so you don't get lost. A lot of those need updated as well. So those are some pretty big projects that we have. And then one that's kind of behind the scenes that you're not going to see necessarily until it gets rolled out is just updating our website. I think continually updating our website and giving people the information they're looking for is a pretty big deal. Along with our literature, we have some pretty awesome literature that just needs to be continually updated because there's things that are changing a lot.
Right, yeah. Sounds like a lot of great projects ahead that we can find out more about next year. Tyler, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Holly.
All right, don't go away. Noon Edition continues in a moment.